You're watching Daybreak, and now it's time for our newspaper analysis with our lead analyst, Dr. Constance Ikoku.
Hello, good morning, Wenga. How are you today?
Good morning, looking bright as usual.
Thank you, and you. And Yolanda, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Constance. Lovely to see you today.
Good to see you. Adesua over in Lagos. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning, Dr. Constance. You're looking stunning today. Love the necklace.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yourself, you're not looking bad at all. Okay, good to see everyone. Hello there and welcome to the program. We'll begin with this day newspaper. In this day, we'll be looking at one of the biggest stories that broke yesterday. That's Simon Ekpa, the self-acclaimed Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, will be spending time behind bars. The Nigerian government has testified or has hailed his conviction by Finland on terrorism charges and believes this is a big victory for the fight against terror. All the major papers have the same story, but let's see the Punch also, which reports it with a little bit of a twist. There in the Punch, it says, terrorism trial, FG may seek Ekpa's repatriation after Finland's 6-year jail term. Government will take further action after judgment review. We know that Ekpa was sentenced to 6 years for terrorism-related activities. He was convicted of multiple charges, including incitement to commit crimes for terrorist purposes, aggravated tax fraud, and violations of the Lawyers Act. He was said to have used the social media to incite violence in the southeast region. What stands out in this entire saga is the supremacy of the justice system in that country and how the man was quickly tried and convicted without much fanfare. He was arrested in November 2024, we all remember, and that trial took place earlier this year and ending in June, I think. And so compare that case with Nnamdi Kanu, who has been having a running battle with the federal government since 2015. He's now been in detention since 2021 after he was repatriated from Kenya, although he says that he was abducted. Benga, what's your take on this? We know that it's important that there's a justice system that follows a due process, that the resolutions are definite and that it comes quickly so that people have trust in what the government is doing, essentially.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Constance. First and foremost, we need to spot the differences in the case between Simon Ekpa and Nnamdi Kanu. First and foremost, we need to understand the personality of Simon Ekpa, who has come out in front of the oath to declare himself as a content creator. That clearly establishes him, and so against every insinuation that he was a member of the IPOB or ESN, and again, the supporters of IPOB and ESN had come out preempting that might set a precedent and a model for judgment against Nnamdi Kanu, had also dismissed claims that he was part of them. So they have dismissed. They have really come out to dissociate themselves from Simon Ekpa. And talking about the crimes which he was arrested for since 2024, talking about aggravated tax fraud and violation of the Lawyers Act, and also using his online activities to promote terrorism activities. So when you consider that almost a year now, or over a year now, and he has been sentenced to 6 years, and by the Finnish authority, especially by the Paija Hame District Court in Finland. We could see that there are clearly some differences between the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who has been under a case which seems unending. I think there is a need to strengthen the rule of law and democratic governance in Nigeria, because we cannot just continue to have an awaiting trial. It doesn't speak well of our legal process. And this is not a good sign at all for such a high-profile case. it doesn't speak well about the place of the rule of law in Nigeria's democracy.
Let's start with this day newspaper. There we have two more stories to look at, excuse me. And that's the story of former President Goodluck Jonathan, whose possible candidacy refuses to go away. And of course, the presidency talking about running an inclusive government. Quote, Jonathan can run for presidential election. The ex-president releases a 2022 court judgment attesting his right to run again, but says he's still consulting. So this court judgment resulted from some APC members approaching the court in 2022 to determine if Jonathan could run to replace late President Muhammadu Buhari before President Tinubu, then candidate Tinubu, clinched the ticket. And the court did affirm that he can run. Now we're hearing that other parties apart from the PDPs, for instance, the NNPP and ADC, have reportedly approached the former president to run. Much has been said about this topic, and my sense is that this may be a poison chalice. And as far as the president declaring that no Nigerian is a second-class citizen, a good statement. Now, you know, they have to walk the talk, essentially. Your take at this one on these stories?
So very importantly, when we talk about our constitution and our laws, you know, we put forward laws and then the courts interpret these laws. Now, the constitutional amendment is subsection 3 of section 137 of our Nigerian constitution, and this amendment was signed into law by Buhari, and that was in 2017. Now, the court case is a federal high court judgment that comes afterwards, as you said, when two APC members tried to sue Jonathan. Now, that means the federal high court has ruled that that amendment does not apply to Jonathan. And very importantly, as his lawyers put out, or as his team put out, it's a subsisting judgment and it has not been appealed. So this is not even, it's essentially a matter that has been laid to rest for years. And now it's being used as a political matter. So I think if we're talking about legality here, it is a judgment that says that, you know what, yes, this constitutional amendment was put forward. However, the Federal High Court says it does not apply to Jonathan. Goodluck Jonathan can run again. And of course, now it's become a political conversation. Festus Keyamo, who of course is a lawyer, a minister in the Tinubu administration, did bring this to the forefront, did bring this conversation forward, saying that legally Jonathan is barred from running. However, of course, he knows as an SAN that when you have a subsisting judgment, it has not been appealed, it's essentially settled law for over 3 years, then perhaps we go with the judgment, because as the law tells us, you know, we build the law as we're going, and the cases help us interpret the laws on paper. So when it comes to Jonathan, I would say that we go by what the court says.
Although Minister Festus Keyamo did say that he could possibly be barred if someone went to court. So you know how Nigeria is becoming highly litigious. So people just go to court for several different reasons, and you have unending injunctions. And
he might stay there for 10 years.
Exactly. So I think that's what he was getting at. Okay, let's look at the Vanguard newspaper. Empowerment of bandits. I mean, our guest touched on this, but let's still say it. Empowerment of bandits. FJ tackles El-Rufai, says claim baseless. That also leads in Daily Sun with the caption, if we can put that up, alleged 1 billion naira bandits jail. Ribadu, Governor Sani tackle El-Rufai. Governor of Kaduna State claims Nasir El-Rufai is planning to destabilize Kaduna State, which has relatively been peaceful since he took office. In addition, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu is refuting claims by El-Rufai that this office is planning to pay some bandits monies. These three have a long history together that once used to be cordial, but obviously quite volatile these days. Out of the power struggle or outside the power struggle, what exists is that questions begin to be raised about how we manage insecurity in the country, whether we are paying bandits money or not. Even El-Rufai himself, when he was governor of Kaduna State, did accept, or maybe a confession, that they paid some Fulani headsmen monies in order to stop attacking people in southern Kaduna. So, you know, there's a lot packed in that story. I don't know, Benga, whether you want to take on that.
Okay, when you look at this, Malam, ex-governor of Kaduna State, Malam El-Rufai, has been in the eye of the storm for a couple of days since he dropped the bombshell. There have been backlashes, there have been firebacks from different quarters, some from even his state, and also from the Office of the National Security Advisor, that have said that his allegations are baseless, and also that they have consistently discouraged payment of ransom because they believed, according to them, that it will embolden the bandits. And what they have adopted is both kinetic and community engagement, which seems closer to what could be called non-kinetic approach. But when you look at, especially from what our guest General Rogers Nicholas exposed here, he said, he attested that they do, that the civilian elements of government do negotiate with the bandits. And one wonders, because in the negotiation, on the negotiation table, it's always give and take. So we wonder what the conditions the bandits would have given to the government for a clear surrender or release of the abducted persons. So when you look at all this, it seems as if the truth is hidden somewhere. Both the governments and those alleged need to come out in clear terms to let us know what the situation is and how we can strengthen the military action against terrorists and banditry in the country.
Let's quickly take New Telegraph. Nigeria's foreign missions facing financial challenges, according to Tugar. Ambassador Yusuf Tugar is the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and is telling us what we already know, that many of our embassies are unable to fulfill their obligations to local staff and service providers, which includes rents to landlords, foreign service allowance to home-based staff, etc. This is a long-standing story. And the long-standing problem as well that stems from budgetary limitations, revenue shortfalls, which hampers the ability of the diplomatic corps to deliver their mandates effectively. As far back as when I was a correspondent in Washington, D.C., I covered stories such as this, rents not being paid. Yolanda, if this has been unresolved all these years, it means that we're dealing with deeper issues.
You know, Dr. Constance, it's really difficult to pinpoint where the main challenge is with all of this. In a report that we took, I believe it was last week or probably the week before, a statement was let out that they are trying to fix the financial difficulties and that they were requesting for time and patience from the Nigerian people. But in requesting for that time, it raises concerns about the impact on consular services. How are people supposed to, navigate with visa issues, with passport issues, with all these things that a diplomatic agency is meant to provide for their citizens? You know, we just had this trade fair in Japan where there was, it was all over social media how deplorable and how embarrassing it was, and scanty looking the table, the desk was for the Nigerian, community. And these just all tie in together. As much as we're being asked to be patient, there are so many jarring problems that are affecting the everyday people, not just in Nigeria, but people who are abroad, who are trying to, put their lives together, come back to Nigeria, get passports, get visas. It's quite an embarrassing situation, and I wish that they could give solutions that can be used in the interim while they are trying to rectify these financial issues.
If I may come in,
that's what, did you have something to say?
I wanted to just come in here. Yes, thank you, Dr. Constance. Something that we talk about very often is our budgets and how we budget for things. We peg the naira to a dollar value that is not really realistic. We peg our barrel production per day in a way that's not very realistic. We have never hit our budget targets, and this is what comes out of that, because it's not just foreign rents that can't be paid. We have contractors complaining in the country that they haven't been paid. We have legislators legislators. That's another a huge problem in the National Assembly. It's part of why the group chat was formed by the members of the House of Representatives, is that they can't do constituency projects that have been budgeted for since 2024. We're running concurrent budgets, multiple budgets at once. And so this is it's a structural issue. Yes, you know, two guys pointing out that we're facing this in foreign countries because we also don't have ambassadors. We have issues with our passports, and as Yolanda highlighted, all these very important to protect Nigerians internationally when we have wars and crises popping out in different nations. However, what this comes down to is mismanagement of our budget.
Right.
We are inherently fiscally irresponsible.
True. Time we fast spent, so I'm struggling to decide which papers we'll have to look at.
Okay,
let's quickly see. Benga, we are pressed for time.
Okay.
Let's quickly, because we haven't even gone to the international headlines. Leadership newspaper will just say the headline: reactions as Wike says unresolved crisis could derail PDP convention. And then let's pull up the Guardian, a very revealing piece from that paper, as it says, 1.7 billion naira from Nigerian market to foreign airlines while the local airlines struggle. Okay, international headlines, Daily Graphic, Justice Kanu removed as Chief Justice based on recommendation from a panel of inquiry into her behavior. The Citizen newspaper, we have here Lillian Ngoyi Street, counting gas blast costs. This street was the location of a gas explosion 2 years ago, but it's been reopened and locals are still talking about the difficulties, and quite honestly, they are desperate at the moment. Newspaper, the heat is being turned up on asylum seekers who will now be asked to wait 2 years to bring their families to the UK. This is part of the immigration crackdown that is ongoing. And if we go to metro.co.uk, I'd be safer in Somalia, says this asylum seeker who wishes to be deported. He's been in the UK for 20 years. That's the backstory, and he was stripped of his right to work because he was convicted of an assault. And finally, the Guardian newspaper, PM tries to regain control from Treasury in number 10 shake-up. And in the Daily Telegraph, the dramatis personae Rachel Reeves, who is the Chancellor of the Exchequer, smiling through the pain, says this headline. We'll have to leave it there. That's all we can take on the paper review this morning.
Well, thank you, Dr. Constance Ikwoku, for your brilliant analysis this morning. That's all the time we have for Daybreak. I'm Adesua Giral-Sage here from Lagos.
And I'm Benga Ashiru. It's goodbye from me.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.